Hey guys, how's it going? Today's video is going to be a little book haul of all the books I bought so far in 2020. I'm trying not to buy too many books this year because, like I mentioned in my goals video, I want to get my physical TBR down and under control, but I've bought a couple recently, so I thought let's just do a mini book haul and then hopefully I won't have to do one for a long time, so fingers crossed. The first two books that I bought this year were Leaping Wolf and Lion Cub. These are books 2 and 3 from the Caledon saga. I absolutely loved the first book, Wildcat, so friggin' much, and I ended up finishing it. I think it was the last book that I finished in 2019, but I bought these right as I was finishing it, so they came in at the very starting of 2020, but I just knew that I was going to need to read these. I really don't want to give anything away for what they're about. I haven't even really read the backs too much because it's the second and third book, but I'm expecting like battles and badassery and more like politics probably, but all I know is I'm very excited. The next book is one that I actually won in a giveaway, so it doesn't really count because I didn't spend money on it, is what I'm telling myself. But that is The Savior's Champion by Jenna Moreci. I won this in a giveaway that was hosted by Jessica Williamson. It was like an author-tuber appreciation thing going on, and I was allowed to pick any author-tuber book, and this was one of the ones that I hadn't owned yet, but I was really intrigued about it. So I got it, and it arrived like January-ish. This book sounds really dark and violent. I think it's about like some sort of gladiator-type tournament, fight to the death kind of thing, and that just sounds really interesting, and it sounds vicious and dark and fantasy, and I love that. Next book I got was The Toll by Neil Shusterman. I really wanted to get this when it came out in November, and then I just didn't get around to it, and then I eventually did in January. This is the third book in the Arc of a Scythe series. I'm not going to go into specifically what this one's about because it's the third and final book in the series, but the Scythe world is basically they've cured everything. There's no death unless one of the Scythes decides to kill you to keep population under control, and it's just a really interesting world. It's not quite dystopian, it's more utopian, like everything is perfect, but it's almost too perfect, and then there's just a lot of weird and cool politics, and it's just really interesting to see the world, and I really wanted to finish off this series. I'm planning on reading this one this month, so hopefully it lives up to my expectations, but I just didn't want to get spoiled for it, so I thought I might as well buy it and read it before that happens. The next book I bought was The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I'm in love with Evelyn Hugo. What else do you need to know? I read this on audiobook from my library, and I was just so obsessed. I read it all in one sitting, and I knew that I was going to have to own this book, so I bought it. This one, I'm trying to rationalize it to myself because it's not another unread book, because I did read it. So that's what I'm telling myself, but really I would use any excuse to get this book because I'm in love with Evelyn Hugo. If you somehow don't know, this book is about Evelyn Hugo, who is a reclusive former Hollywood star, one of the biggest stars of her day, and she's finally doing a tell-all interview and just going over her whole life and why she was married 7 times, and I love her. She is so strong and powerful and unapologetic. Like, I just love Evelyn Hugo. The next book I got is also one that I won in a giveaway, and that is The Other People by C.J. Tudor. I won this in a giveaway hosted by Cecilia at thatdisneychik. If I remember right, the video was about her most anticipated new releases, and she had a giveaway that if you won, you could pick whichever one of those new releases you wanted, and I won, and I picked this one, and I'm so excited to read it. I really loved The Chalkman by C.J. Tudor. It was one of my favorite books that I read last year, so when I saw that there was another book coming out, I was really excited for it. And then I found out that BooksandLala is actually doing a book club, and this was the first book pick, so it just worked out really, really great, so I'm really excited to get to it this month. I'm actually probably going to start it within the next couple days, so that's going to be exciting. I haven't looked that much into exactly what it's about because it's a thriller, mystery, and I like going into those not knowing too much. All I really know about the plot, and all I really want to know, is that it's about a guy whose daughter was kidnapped, and she's missing, they have no clues of where to find her, he's a suspect, and then there's also another perspective, and it's somebody that supposedly knows what happened. And I don't really want to know much more than that because I really like learning these things as we go. All I know is I'm excited to read it, and I should read it very soon. The next book that I got is Plum Bun. Let me try to adjust that white balance here. By Jessie, Redmon, Fauset. Becca from Becca C Smith made a whole video about this in her Forgotten Female Fiction series, which is an amazing series, and clearly I loved it because I bought this book the very next day, but I highly, highly recommend checking out that video. Basically, she just goes into forgotten female fiction, so stories that have just kind of been lost through time and unfortunately forgotten. Comment, you can't read. Female authors from many, many moons ago, and it basically just gives them the spotlight that they never got in life. I just think it's an amazing, amazing project, and you guys should definitely check out that series. But her most recent video was on Jessie, Redmon, Fauset, and she mentioned the book Plum Bun. I keep wanting to say Plum Bum. It's Plum Bun. This is basically the story of a girl who is black, but she's white passing, and basically just how she goes through her life kind of in between the two worlds. So I was really, really intrigued by this, and Becca cried, and I think she cried in a video talking about it too, so I'm excited about that. And I'm also doing a buddy read of this with Maureen. I actually don't know how to pronounce her last name. Lode? Laud? And I'm actually going to be doing a buddy read of this, which is my first buddy read, so I am so excited. And then maybe a video collab coming soon, so stay tuned for that, but I am so excited for this book. And last but definitely not least, the book that just arrived today, Always by Yumi Yamamoto. I loved this. I just read it today. It's a quick little comic book. I'm just going to flip through it quickly because I don't want to give anything away. I really found this interesting. It's not simple. That's not the right word. It's just vague enough that you understand the circumstances, but there's just so much more to it. And I finished reading it and kind of just immediately wanted to reread it just to see if I could pick something else up, and it was just really, really interesting. It's about a girl whose ex-boyfriend shows up in the middle of the night and needs a place to stay, and she lets him in, and I'm not going to say anything more. Like I said, I loved the story. I loved how vague it was and how you just kept getting tastes of things, but I mean, it's only 34 pages, so you can't get a full story, but I want to know. Okay, I'm sitting here editing, and I realized how I worded that sounded completely different than what I meant. I said that you don't get a full story. I meant you don't get the full story. You get a full story. It's a complete story. What I meant is you don't get the full story, meaning you don't get all of the background and baggage and the entire life story of everything. Because what I meant is that it was really interesting and I wanted to know every detail about their life. But it is a complete story. I'm sorry. I hope that wasn't confusing. Sorry. Absolutely everything. Also, the art in this is beautiful. Just flip this quickly. The art is by Danny Way, but I love this so much. I know that I'm probably biased because Yumi is a friend of mine, but it doesn't matter because this is amazing. So I am so happy that I pre-ordered this and was able to get it right away because it was so good. And there we go. Those were the 8 books that I bought in 2020 so far. I am pretty happy with all of these purchases. I know I said that I don't want to be buying too many books, but I think that all of these ones were very good choices, so I'm happy with that. I'm not feeling too guilty. If you guys enjoyed this video, please click the like button to let me know, and subscribe to stay up to date with the rest of my videos. I post new videos every Wednesday and Sunday, usually reading or writing related. So I hope to see you guys next time, and until then, have a great day. Bye!